Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Connections. I'm Dimitri Katulis, and this is my co-host, Andrea Popan-Dorca.
Hey, welcome to our third episode.
Yeah, how's it been, Andrea?
Pretty good. Today, I was able to do some work in the garden because, since I haven't been to work for a while and I had to stay at home, I started doing more around the house. I actually planted some tomatoes and stuff like that. It's pretty nice. It's I get
That's
to
awesome.
to be outside and to be in the sun and to
Just to
do
say
some
that
workouts. So it's fine.
you had a holiday today. It wasn't that you were just outside on a work day and doing stuff. Just in
Yes,
case anyone gets the wrong idea.
it was a day off, but even on a regular work day, after I finish my calls, I can go outside and do work in the garden. So I'm all covered. But thank you for that.
Yeah, you have to be really careful now. You don't even know what to say anymore. I went to work last week after 2.5 months working at home, and it felt so weird. First of all, you see everyone again, and I don't know how it was for everyone else, but for me, it was like, I mean, it was nice to see them, but even if I just stayed at home and did my work, it wouldn't bother me at all. And I don't know how everyone else feels about that. But the thing that I have noticed, I've spoken with many other people who have also gone back to work normally, and they've seen a difference in attitude with their bosses. Some say,
in a way, yeah.
In both ways. Some say that they feel that they're more trusted and that the boss doesn't always ask them all the time, what are they doing, what are they working on, so they trust more of the time management. And there's others that are just over them 24/7. So it's had both types of effects.
Interesting, yeah. I mean, I guess it's to be expected because different people handle this differently. I'm still working from home. So yeah, I can't really say how it changed my coworkers, if it has in any way. But I guess, yeah, because especially if you have a big team. I don't know, was it, did your teammates say anything? Did they feel strange about it? Do most people prefer to work from home, or were they happy to be back in the office?
I mean, most of them, because they have children, they wanted to come back to the office. So yeah. And there's others that were just really bored at home. For some reason, there's so many people that just can't be at home for so long. For me, it wasn't a problem, thankfully. But there's a lot of people that actually hated it after a while.
I mean, I can see that if you live alone, especially, that you would feel, isolated in all sense of the word, in all senses of the word. But this idea of like this thing of being bored, I don't really get it too much. There's so much to do. There's so many things to watch on Netflix. There's so many good books. There's like, you can learn stuff. I know you're not always in the mood to be productive, but like there's so many good series out. Like I finished 2 series. I started and finished 2 series in these 2.5 months. So
which series did you watch?
The Money Heist, La Casa de Papel, the Spanish one, the really famous one, and I liked it. I know it has its moments of soap opera romance thingy, but it was really catchy, and it really made you want to watch the next episode to see what happens. Like it really
had good
attention.
Cliffhangers for every episode. I have to give it that.
It really did. Yeah. And I liked the characters. Really, all of them were charming and interesting. I like that.
Who was your best character from the series?
So I loved 2 characters, and they're both dead. So I don't know if I should say it, but I really like. Spoiler alert! Don't watch if you haven't watched it. Don't watch our episode if you haven't watched it yet. But my favorite was Berlin.
Who was Berlin?
You know, the guy in charge in the first heist.
That guy was awesome. I like that guy too.
The sociopath, but he was really charming. You know, I liked his character, and he died. And then I liked Nairobi, which was like the quality assurance
she
specialist.
Died. Nairobi was the one with the kid.
Yes.
Oh,
You
yeah,
haven't
I'm not
watched
gonna watch it, so it's fine.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought I screwed it up for
No,
you.
no,
Yeah,
it's fine.
she was also shot. So yeah, I liked these two characters best, and they were killed. But it actually made sense in the story, so I didn't mind too much. And then I watched Freud. It's also a Netflix series. It's
Freud.
Yeah, it's Austrian. It's about the psychoanalyst, but it's a little bit dark. It has some murder mystery in it. Freud is he's involved in the investigation for these crimes. Some people are manipulated into doing some stuff. It's actually quite interesting.
Yeah, it's like a crime thriller kind of series.
Kind of, yeah. It's a bit darker than the Sherlock Holmes series, and it does talk about a lot about Freud's drug abuse. But I mean, that was a pretty regular thing in back in that age, so it's fine. Everybody was snorting cocaine. I mean, today we're all on antidepressants, so it's pretty much the same thing.
And we're all gonna be on 5G soon. Anyway.
that also.
You know what? I really liked I mean, it's so obvious now because it's been talked about ad nauseum, but The Last Dance was pretty good. I like the way they set up the documentary it's a documentary about Michael Jordan and his 6 championships in the NBA.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it yet.
I mean, I really like the way they set up the documentary. I mean, what the documentary said and what it talked about is another thing, but there's been a lot of comments on how a lot of things were only from the perspective of Michael Jordan, and how there are a lot of things that were false from his teammates and so on and so forth. But the way they actually created like this timeline where it went back and forth for each championship was really well made. Anyone who hasn't watched it, I mean, and you like documentaries, I'll certainly propose it. It's really good.
It's good to know. Yeah, I'll watch it then.
I mean, I like documentaries in general, and there's not many on. I also saw another documentary about prisoners who used basketball to try and change their way of life and to
that's cool.
help them calm themselves or learn lessons, learn to be with each other for different reasons other than crime, and to support each other. That was pretty cool. I like that as well. Do you have any good documentaries that you can tell us about? Because I think Netflix is running out of them. They used to be really big on them.
I watched so many. I mean, sure, they are Oscar awarded Oscars, and they're really good. I watched only recently. I watched God, what was it called? I think Icarus. It was about.
I haven't seen it, but they told me it's amazing.
It's really good, and it's so it gets into detail. Like, that guy tries doping on himself to see the effects and everything, and to get into the process, and it's crazy, not just what it does to his body, but he gets into the context of this, like, it's an institutionalized doping mechanism that's crazy. It's wonderful. It's really good. And then there's so many series. I was watching, like, The Story of God. It's with Morgan Freeman. It's on Netflix again.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to watch that. It looks too long, 50 minutes per episode.
Yeah, and especially if you watch it before going to bed, like I did, and it's narrated by Morgan Freeman, you fall asleep in like 15 minutes. You're done.
So it's a good antidote for sleeping.
I kind of like it, though. It talks about many religions and different concepts that are similar to more religions, and about death and afterlife and how religion appeared. And I actually liked it.
That's good.
There's, yeah, I could go on and on, but this wasn't supposed to be just an episode about movies, but
maybe we can do one like the best of Netflix or something like that for an episode. But let just to go back to what we were talking about. If I recall correctly, you wanted to talk about how jobs are changing and with recruiters now, or how employers are um,
Right.
looking at their employees differently or treating them differently, or with salaries and jobs and everything. Because sadly, the coronavirus again, it's like every 10 years something huge happens that makes everything go worse for some reason. And I feel like a lot of people are going to start taking advantage of unemployment again. So, what have you heard about this?
Um, well, I mean, in Romania, unemployment is not skyrocketing. Of course, there are many people who lost their jobs, and others are in this, what it's called, like technical unemployment, where temporarily they're unemployed because the small business owners can't afford to pay them. So the state is paying like 75% of their salaries.
Yeah.
And when the businesses are opening again, they're going to be hired again, hopefully, if they can open. I was talking, I mean, that this was a little bit before the lockdown. And I was talking to a friend of mine who's a recruiter. She has her own recruitment company and she works with several employers and she recruits for them. And she was saying that many employers these days are saying, like, oh, I'm really glad that this crisis happened because so many tech talents were really overpriced these days. There's so many
Oh my
devs and
God.
designers. Yeah, like, and she was saying that many of these people say that these devs and designers that they're hiring, they are not worth their money, but because the market is really rising
So
in Romania and
competitive, yeah.
Bucharest, yeah, it's super competitive and these people are not worth their money, and so they can't wait for the crisis to come so they can pay these people less, basically, so they can hire for cheaper. And I was saying, like, okay, I see their point of view, but in the same time, okay, I'm a designer, I'm a UX designer, I work in tech in Bucharest, and I'm like, sure, but you have, like, okay, maybe I'm not worth my money. I am. Just if in case my manager's watching, I am worth my money, totally. But let's say I'm not worth it, right? And they pay me too much. But in the same time, I live in Bucharest and I have to pay rent, which is also overpriced. I go and I eat in a place at lunch every day, and it's also overpriced. If
Yeah.
they pay me less, how in the world am I supposed to survive? Because this is where the market is. And so they're saying, oh, but Andrata's not worth her salary. But that's not what it is. I mean, if you think I'm not worth it, don't hire me. But if everybody is in the same situation, then it means this is the market. And if this is the market, then I am, in the end, I am worth my money, you know.
And
It's
it's
not,
like if I mean it, and it all correlates. If and it's like you said, if they think you're not worth their money, then why can't everyone have that opinion about everything? So if every
right.
apartment in Bucharest is whatever built 20 years ago, it's not like we can go. It's not worth its money, and the government's gonna drop the prices for
Yeah, exactly.
landlords
Oh,
and
let's
so
have
on.
another crisis every 2 years so the prices drop. I mean, sure.
Doesn't
And
make
also
sense.
the yeah, and also these employers, they produce something, even if it's services or software, whatever it is, and they are getting paid for it. And you can't expect that your profit is gonna double or triple just because you can pay your employees less, but you can still sell at this price. Like,
And you
I'm
know,
sorry, but
it's really unfair
that's
as
what.
well because in every crisis, there's the middle and small companies that just they can't recover from the crisis, which means like
Yeah,
huge tech companies just buy them, and then they control the market even more, and they can even they control the prices, which means that yes, salaries get a bit lower or sustained at a level for quite a while. Yet the services that we pay for and the stuff that we do, they either go up or they're also steady. So there's actually nothing to bring us closer to that level where we can say, okay, I'm living on a salary that's good. You know what I mean? And it's really stressful
yeah,
knowing that now, for example, there's a lot of us who it was about time for us to get a raise. We've been there for how many
right.
years, you know, this and that. You feel like you deserve it. And now, if you go to your manager, your employer, whoever, and you ask for a raise, they'll look at you weird. It's like, we just went through a crisis, you know, and then
Oh, exactly.
it reflects really bad on you as well, even if the company is doing well again, you know, if the profits are going high. And that's what happened with one of the biggest banks in Cyprus. They they took the government help, the furlough, and a lot of the bank's employees sat at home. Yet the bank turned up profits of 136 million, and it went public, and they were showing it off as well. And there isn't one union to bring all these people together and try to, you know, get some leverage for themselves and go against the bank. It's like everyone's scared to do anything. How can you control this?
Especially with the banks, I have no idea, because they're just huge. And
it's not only that as well. Not only they froze everyone's salary, and a lot of them didn't even get paid. A lot of again, middle and small businesses, they went in to try and get some help from the banks, you know, to get a loan, and they strictly said that, you know, you might have been doing well before the coronavirus, but since we don't know what's going to happen after and how the market is going to be, we can't give you a loan. So immediately, it's like you're saying, okay, I'm shooting you basically, and you're going to die a slow death, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. And yeah, nobody is forcing the banks to do anything. They can just really do whatever they want. They can choose to save somebody or not, and that's about it. But then you have all these big corporations who are coming to ask for money from the government, and then the government gives them money, you know, and you're like, dude, us, the small people and the small businesses, we're supposed to be thinking in advance and have a few months savings, because you never know what happens. And then these guys, like huge corporations, you have 1 month of people not going out to shop, and then they're like, oh shit, now we need government aid.
Yeah.
And you're like, really? You have billions in profit every quarter.
It's unreal. It's unreal. I don't know how this works. I wish we could talk with an economist. Hopefully we can get one on
soon. Yeah. Actually, that would be good. Yeah, we should.
I mean, it would have to be someone who's open to silly questions, because I'm not an expert on this, and
I am not either. Not at all, obviously. I just mentioned I'm a designer, so for me it's
so exactly in Cyprus there's been a huge surge of job openings for, again, program developers and UI and UX designers all over the place. Is it the same in Romania then now?
It is. And I think it's because many businesses are realizing now that if they don't have a life online, they're going to die. Especially now, because everybody was ordering online. If you had an online presence, you had some chances
of income,
surviving. Yeah, but if you don't, then you're just doomed. Even gyms, if you can afford, if you're able to offer some, you know, like online trainings to keep your members engaged, then it kind of worked for you. Otherwise, you were shut down for 3 months, 4 months. In Romania, at least, we don't even know when the gyms are going to be open again. Probably July, but
for us, the gyms are they're either doing stuff in their car park, or they go out to an open space where there's nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're doing like right outside my house now. They're doing yoga and stuff.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, it's things that you can do only outdoors. In Bucharest, that would be very tough.
Oh yeah, I mean, oh my god, I'm so stupid. Obviously, not every country has sun. Holy moly.
Sun.
I don't know why I didn't even think of that. What?
You were like, yeah, it's great outdoors, but yeah, you can't really do that. And so if you have an online presence, you need, a website, you need an app, and then you're going to need developers. You're going to, sure, not everybody's going to hire their own developers to make their own apps, but agencies have more work these days. And so designers and developers are really valuable right now.
And the other issue with this is as well that because and now everyone has understood how useful it is for people to work online and how it can work.
To work from home.
To work from home, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's an important point. Yeah, so it falls right into the hands of the big corporations because they can what you call it. I mean, they can just give better packages for you to come to work for them, and um, they'll just outbid every other competitor in the end. So even if you are in Bucharest and a local tech firm wants new developers, what it doesn't stop Google from trying to hire you either if you're really good. And who's going to
Right.
say
Yeah.
no to Google anyway? I mean, even if you have 6 months on your resume, it's huge.
Oh yeah, of course. Of
So
course.
basically, it's not even, it doesn't become an equal playing field anymore. It actually it gets even worse now because everyone's understood the power of working at home and how easy it can be.
Yeah, but honestly, I'm just glad. I would really prefer to be able to work remotely if I could.
Yeah, of
Full
course.
time.
I mean, it can help everyone, can't it?
Even my company was sending us a survey these days to ask how we're coping, what we
Oh, really?
prefer, what we like about working from home, what we dislike.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad that you actually did that. I'm curious what the general, because we're so many employees around the world. But I'm actually curious what the general opinion is if people prefer to work from home. But I'm sure that, like you say, in the case of parents who are stuck in their house with their kids all day, I'm sure it's a lot more difficult to do work.
I mean,
I'm
it's
sure for
impossible.
them.
It's not just
Yeah.
difficult. You just can't. When the kid
Yeah.
sees you there and you're not giving it any attention, they go crazy.
Yeah. Unless your partner is able to take care of them while you do work, and then you switch and they do their calls and their work meetings, and you take care of the kids. But otherwise, if I can't imagine what it would be like to be a single parent these days and have the kids with you 24 hours a day and have to do work.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
probably,
It's pretty difficult actually. From the
yeah.
stories that I've heard, I mean, they're real heroes, honestly. The way they can manage to do so many things in just 8 hours, where they have to work,
Yeah.
and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Really, hats off to all of those people who are fighting alone. Do you have anything else to add to this topic?
I mean, I could go on and on. But I guess to kind of conclude this, I would say that definitely the market, the work environment is going to change, and I think more companies are going to be more open to working remotely. Probably at first they're going to be like, okay, you can work from home several days in a month. If so far you couldn't, maybe then now they're going to allow you to like work from home one Friday here and there. And then the ones who did allow you, like my company, I'm able to do 2 days work from home anyway in my contract. Now they're probably going to say, okay, you can do more. And then there are others like Twitter. We probably discussed this before, how they just announced all of their employees globally that they can fully work remotely from now on. So I
Oh,
think more
really? They
companies are going to
announced
do
that?
that. Apparently, yeah,
Wow,
they
that's really
told
good.
all of their employees they can work remotely from now on, and they're going to realize that it saves a lot of money. I mean, I read this article, I can't remember, but like for each employee in the US, some corporation did the math, and it was like you save $23,000 or something like that if that
Per
employee works
employee,
from
you mean?
home. Per employee, yeah. If that employee works from home, you save a ton of money per year. I mean, just imagine if, sure, say you don't save all of that, but you can give part of it as an incentive to your employee. Then again, like you say, you can outdo your competitors and say, okay, stay and work for me. I'll let you work from home and give you a higher salary.
True. The only negative thing is companies taking advantage. I mean, if you're at home and I mean, you don't, at the end of the day, as an employer, you don't want to have all the expenses as well. So you're paying for your,
for
if
your
you're
internet,
renting a
for your
house, for your internet, for your electricity, everything. I mean, and when you're home longer, obviously all these prices go up. I mean, sorry, all the bills go up. So I mean, just a small parenthesis as well to maybe end this episode. Have you seen about Trump and Twitter and how he's all of a sudden going
Speaking of
against
Twitter,
social media?
yeah, he is, because they flagged one of his, like, one or two of his tweets as like
But
inaccurate
apparently they
facts.
flagged his whole account as saying that it's not.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't blame them, because he was just going on and on about like how elections would be rigged and whatever, and they were like, fact check. Like, where did you get these facts?
Yeah, so they actually flagged his account for false information, and that's the president.
That's awesome,
guys. I mean,
that's awesome.
But what is this world we're living in?
If they did that, how is he going to make his most important declarations? Because that's what he did. He used Twitter so far, so he's pretty much voiceless now.
Yeah, and it's still crazy. I mean, imagine, I take it from the other point of view. Imagine how powerful a tech company has become.
Oh yeah,
that
it's
they
scary.
can flag
It's
the
sure
president of the United States. I mean, just think about that. It's absolute madness. I mean, of course he's blabbering and he's not saying stuff that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just to put it lightly. But still, isn't that a worry? Am I overreacting here? I don't know.
I think the worry it's not so much in the fact that he is the president and they can do that to him itself. It's the fact that he uses that platform to make his most important communication to the world, and then this private company has control over it. I mean, sure, it's the same like with TV stations and all, but you know, it's to me, that's what's weird. I mean, we have reached this status quo where the president, like one of the most important leaders of the world, is doing his communications through social media, and social media can be like, that I don't like that, what you wrote there, that's.
Do you think he types his own tweets, or does he have someone else doing it?
Sometimes it looks, you know, how there's so many memes about it, how there's a lot of typos and some words that don't make sense and all. It kind of actually looks like he's just there busily in his private jet typing something, and then he just gets off and he doesn't proofread what he's typed. I don't know. Some of them probably he does himself.
He must have a press officer, but I don't know. It just looks like sometimes it's unfiltered.
Yeah, he does seem like the kind of person who would be like, you know, when the press officer comes to him and says, "So, Mr. President, I think this is what you have to post on Twitter," he'd be like, "No, I don't like that."
No,
you know, but Mr. President is like, "No, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that." And he just does it because he's like that kind of. He's very childish, and it looks to me that he's just the kind of person who only does what he wants. And if you tell him that maybe that's not the greatest idea, that's the thing he's going to do.
Yeah, just to just to do the whatever you say.
Exactly.
The other thing.
Exactly.
It's
pretty much reverse psychology.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I can imagine, like, he must have had so many, like, what do you call the power trips, where he probably just sort of wanted to write, "I once had an orgy," and then the press officer comes, "I don't think you should write that." But why not? That's so American.
But it's cool. People they'll all envy me.
The guys will love it.
Exactly.
They'll think I'm a real man's man.
Which is actually that a lot of them do think that about him. I follow some of these like pro-Trump Facebook groups just because I want to see what's in that bubble as well. And it's full of memes about how his wife is so good looking compared to whoever, compared to Michelle Obama, compared to Hillary Clinton, compared to, like, take all of the, insert any woman in some sort of power role. So they're all like, "Yeah, have you seen Melania? He's been in lockdown with Melania." And like, oh my God, this is like, seriously, is that why you admire this guy. But
they admire him because they get to see Melania more often.
I guess.
Anyway, do you have anything else to say before we close out? So it's a bit short of an episode, but I haven't even eaten yet, so.
Oh man, go and have dinner. No, I think we're good for today, and we're gonna try and bring guests in pretty soon. Not because
I'm
we're
really
bored
hoping
talking
next
to each
week
other,
we can bring someone. So we'll make sure to organize that. I mean, we keep saying it, but it will happen. We're just having some delays with coronavirus and everything that's going on. It's been a bit more difficult than what we thought it would be, but we're getting there.
Yeah. So feel free to join the conversation, comment, let us know what you want to talk about, and see you soon. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.